Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football, with my reaction to your response to my reaction to the college football playoff rankings week 1 as announced by the selection committee on Tuesday night. All right, let's get to it. Alfred the Savage. Georgia being ranked 6 and Ohio State 1, it tells me that the committee values defense just as much as offense, or maybe they value winning over losing to South Carolina, a 24-point underdog at home. Alfred, I don't think Alabama or LSU is going to make the playoffs. Well, that basically tells us that Alfred believes the winner of this game, Alabama LSU, is going to lose the SEC championship game. Creen Man comments, Mark, you reward best wins, not best strength of schedules. The guys on the show last night said Ohio State had a 20th strength of schedule ranking, and that was better than LSU, Alabama, Penn State, Clemson, or anyone in the top 9. I heard that comment, and I mentioned it many times. But I think where strength of schedule errs is that, does it really matter for a team as good as Ohio State or LSU or any of the teams in question that they just beat the 70th best team in the country instead of the 105th best team in the country? Does that really matter for Ohio State, LSU, Alabama, Clemson, these teams in question? And that's helping their strength of schedule by playing marginal teams versus an LSU maybe playing some better teams like Auburn, like Florida, like Texas, but then playing teams that are ranked 105, 110 in the nation in the FBS's 130 teams, while Ohio State is playing teams ranked more in the 65 to 70 range. Does that really matter for a team as good as LSU or Ohio State? Yes, I'm going to reward the best wins and not necessarily the strength of schedule, because beating teams that are ranked as high and are as good as Auburn, Florida, and Texas should matter more so balanced with a schedule where you're playing horrible teams rather than Ohio State beating a bunch of marginal teams. Bryan Scheffel. Can Clemson fans see what the committee did? You are in the playoffs if you win out. The 4 teams above you play each other. If you win, you move to 3 at the least. Putting you out, but not really, makes the committee look objective. Get your crap together and rein it in, Clemson fans. Saying, calm down, you're number 5, but you've got a clear path to the playoff. James Mills, my reaction to the ranking, who cares? The only ranking that matters is the last one, and that's only relating to the SEC. The other conferences have to be perfect, otherwise they're at the mercy of the SEC committee, playoff committee. So if you're a Power 5 conference team, the path is clear. You must go unbeaten. You must go unbeaten like Oregon did in 2014 and Ohio State did in 2014 and Michigan State did in 2015 and Clemson in 2015. Well, they did, yeah, but they did not in 2016. They lost to Pitt. And Oklahoma certainly did not go undefeated in 2015. I'm not getting the point. I understand the perspective that there's SEC bias. I'm not going to discount that. Alabama should not have been selected in 2017. And even approaching this particular selection here in 2019, it appears as though the SEC is sitting pretty. But the SEC has generally won the big games in the non-conference play to set itself up. Go through the year-by-year analysis of the SEC's performance. I mean the top SEC teams out of conference. They've won the big games. Alabama's won its non-conference games. Of course, the last 2 years it's been against awful teams in Duke and Louisville, but in the past it's been against good teams like Virginia Tech, like West Virginia, like some other decent teams. Wisconsin. LSU has won out-of-conference games. Georgia has won its out-of-conference games in recent years against Notre Dame and the like. So the SEC has held serve and won the big games out of conference. Auburn the last 2 years against Washington and Oregon. So the SEC has positioned itself to receive that kind of pass and favor. The Right Stuff says the biggest blunder is Oklahoma State is ranked number 23, Texas not ranked, Both are 3-loss teams, and Texas beat OK State. And Texas has better losses overall than Oklahoma State. Texas lost to LSU by a touchdown at home, the number 1 or 2 team in the country. Yes, head-to-head should trump everything, and both teams have 3 losses. It's right there for the taking. And Texas has already played Oklahoma and only lost that game by 1 score. Why is Oklahoma State ranked in the top 25 and Texas not? Now, the MarkRogersTV, the voice of college football, top 25 that actually makes sense, has Texas ranked appropriately enough above Oklahoma State. Dear Patriot who wants to stay clean, we welcome you to the Hero Soap Company. Veteran-owned, donating back to veteran charities. All natural products made from the highest quality goat milk, no dyes, fragrances, or chemicals. Save yourself the hassle and get it delivered right to your door, and get 10% off by using the promo code MARK. That's right, promo code MARK. The link is in the description section below. David Gainey, I guess they, meaning the committee, believe the Big Ten is finally good. They have no wins over a decent team out of the Week 10. Now, there's debate back and forth there. The Big Ten has defeated Iowa State, Notre Dame, Pitt, Cincinnati. Those are the best wins for the Big Ten out of conference. Who's the Big Ten lost to? Well, Michigan State lost to Arizona State. Nebraska lost to Colorado, but Nebraska is not a contender. So the Big Ten is won outside of the conference, but not beaten anybody extremely good. Iowa State, the best win. Notre Dame, probably the best win. Pitt, right in there as well at 6-3. You are right, Chase. Yes, Clemson had those white jerseys on in the national championship game against Alabama. Alabama was number 1. Yes, no number 1 team has won the college football playoff. So we sometimes trust, many of you in the college football playoff selection committee's objectivity, their football acumen, their eyeball test, their metrics. We trust them to select the 4 best teams, and many of you buy into that they in fact must magically know who the 4 best teams are. But if they know who the 4 best teams are, then by logical deduction, they should know who the best team is. And they never have gotten that right. 2014, Alabama was number 1. Ohio State won the national championship. 2015, Clemson was number 1. Alabama won the national championship. 2016, Alabama was number 1. Clemson won the national championship. In 2017, Clemson was number 1, but Alabama won the national championship. And last year, who was number 1? Well, it was Alabama, but Clemson won the national championship. Hill Company chiming in. Let's be honest, for once, if Alabama loses to LSU, the committee will still put them in the playoffs. The committee is afraid of Nick Saban. Aren't we all afraid of Nick Saban? Glockman 945. Florida State was 6-6 due to the quarterback getting hurt. He's going back to 2017. I made reference to Alabama getting into the playoff and there being a disclaimer or a pass given to Alabama's non-conference win over Florida State, a 6-6 Florida State, some crediting that as a big win over a number 3 ranked Florida State team in the preseason. Glockman mentioning the DeAndre Francois injury, that Alabama actually beat a really good team and not the 6-6 Florida State team at the end. He mentions here, Florida State was a top 10 team. Did they earn a top 10 ranking? No, they were a preseason number 3 ranked team. They did absolutely nothing to earn that ranking. The quarterback got hurt. Quarterbacks get hurt all over the country. Is it a key injury? Of course, it's a key injury for that particular team. But any team that is a top 3, legitimate top 3 team in the nation gets its quarterback hurt, and especially after what we've seen out of James Blackman compared to DeAndre Francois, that it's not that much of a drop-off. That Florida State team was apparently not quite that good. Thanks for watching, everyone. We appreciate all the responses to our various videos. We are going to preview Week 11 like nobody else, so keep it locked in right here at Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football. Please help us build the channel by liking the videos, commenting, sharing the videos, and subscribing right here at Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football.